My beloved child, today is a moment when the heavens bow close to the earth and your soul is being invited to step into a sacred space where the voice of heaven echoes within the rhythm of your heartbeat. Do not take this moment lightly, for every word rising now is not merely language but the very lifeblood being poured straight from the realm of light into your spirit. Everything that has come to pass in your journey, joy, tears, even the silences that seemed meaningless, are stones carefully laid on the path leading you to the true purpose of your life. Nothing is accidental. Every sign, every person you meet, every event you experience is a brushstroke of God upon the canvas of your destiny. God says, I called you by name before you were born. I placed within you a light that no darkness can extinguish. Do not be afraid when you feel alone, for that solitude is the space I created so you could hear my voice more clearly. Beloved child, you are not reading these words by chance. Your soul has been longing for confirmation, an answer, a sign that you are still walking the right path. And today that word has been sent. While the world outside stirs and clamors, you are being called into stillness, the only place where I can touch your heart. In that silence you will discover what the mind has missed, that even in your darkest days I have been working, arranging and protecting. Archangel Michael declares, I have been sent to guard your soul. My mission is not to bring fear, but to remind you that you are never alone. There are battles your eyes cannot see, but I have stood in them, holding the flame you thought had gone out. My child, look back on your journey. How many times have you fallen and still risen again? How many times have you been wounded, yet instead of becoming bitter you chose kindness? It is there that heaven sees your true strength, not in what you achieve but in how you love, how you persevere, and how you choose light in the midst of darkness. Every crack in your heart is not a failure but a place where the light enters to heal. You once thought delays were refusals, but in the spiritual realm delay is often protection. Some things you asked for did not come at once, not because you were unworthy but because the time was not yet ready to receive them. Heaven is never late. Heaven is always on time. And when that moment arrives, everything that once caused you pain will become testimony to the faithfulness of God. Do not dismiss the voice within you, for it is not illusion or vagueness. It is an invitation. Your soul is awakening from a long sleep. You begin to feel the movements of the unseen realm, to hear echoes from beyond your sight, and that sensation, even when it frightens you, is proof that you are drawing nearer to your true destiny. Trust the intuition heaven has placed inside you, for it does not lie. Scripture says, do not fear, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name, you are mine. Isaiah 4:3-1. These words are not for those who are already perfect, but for souls who are broken yet still yearn to be loved. And you, the one reading these words, are among them. It is time to release what no longer brings life. It is time to stop seeking validation from eyes that cannot see your true worth. It is time to turn back and listen to the whisper of the one who formed you in love. You do not have to prove your value anymore. You only need to remember that you have carried it since your first breath. My beloved, what has been taken from you is not lost forever. Every loss is a seed planted in the ground, and the harvest is near. But only those who have faith will see the green shoot rise from dry soil. Therefore, look at everything through the eyes of faith, rather than fear. When you choose to believe, you allow miracles to move. When you choose forgiveness, you open the door to healing. And when you choose to rise, all of heaven rejoices. Let your heart be still for a moment. Feel the presence that surrounds you, gentle, deep, yet powerful. This is not imagination, it is heaven's answer to your prayer. No prayer is ever forgotten. No tear ever falls without being counted. And no soul, no matter how far it has wandered, is beyond the call to return. God says, "My child, I am still here. I have not abandoned you even when you doubted me. I have not forgotten you even when you thought yourself forsaken. I am only waiting for you to open your heart, for I will not force myself upon you, I only knock." Beloved child, if you feel a warmth flowing through your heart as you read these words, that is the signal. Do not be afraid. Let this sacred current sweep away every heaviness, every old sin, every accusing voice in your mind. Rise with a new lightness, for you are being called back to yourself, back to the place where your soul was born, back to the original source of light. There are seasons in life when you look around and see only fragments. Dreams once vivid now lie in ashes. Those who once held your hand through storms have turned away in the cold wind. You ask yourself, why do the good things fade when I've given all my heart? But, my child, some things must break before they can be remade. Some people must leave so you can learn to stand by faith alone. And some nights that feel endless are in fact the dawn of a holy morning you have yet to behold. In recent days, you have tried to carry the world on your shoulders. You have strived to do what is right even when no one understood. You have loved even when others chose to wound. You have kept silent even as truth was twisted, and your heart felt ready to break. No one knows that while you smiled, your soul was fighting an unseen battle. You are not only weary in body but in the deepest place of your spirit, where unspoken words, swallowed tears, and fragile hopes keep breaking and mending again. Yet even within this weariness, something sacred is unfolding. You are being remade. Like a seed buried in the earth, you are passing through a dark season, preparing for a radiant bloom. The seed does not understand why it has been covered, yet it trusts the hand of the sower. In the same way, you do not have to understand every reason for your pain, only trust that it is not meaningless. My child, sometimes heaven's silence is not absence but action. That silence is the stillness of a hand arranging. God is moving people, circumstances, even time itself, to prepare for a revelation so great you would not believe it if you saw it now. Some gifts are so immense they must be wrapped in patience. You think you have been abandoned, but in truth you have been set apart. You think you have been forgotten, but in truth you have been hidden for protection. Not everyone is worthy to witness the process of who you are becoming. Every trial you face now is not to prove your weakness, but to refine you into a version of yourself that is stronger, brighter, and more faithful than ever before. Just as gold shines only after it has passed through the fire, so your soul is being tempered to reflect the pure light of the Creator. There will be people who no longer understand you. They will say you have changed, that you have become distant. Let them speak. For when heaven begins to lift you higher, some old relationships will no longer be able to walk beside you. It is not because you are proud, but because the realm you are about to step into no longer carries the old energy. What was once familiar will fade, and what is new will begin to bloom. Do not grieve over what departs. Do not cling to what has already run its course. You cannot carry the past and step into the promise at the same time. Only hands that release can receive. And when you are brave enough to let go, you will discover this truth: what truly belongs to you does not need to be grasped tightly. It will find its way back to you in a form more beautiful, more pure, and more timely. Perhaps right now you cannot see the outcome, you only see the clutter and feel the weariness. But every drop of sweat, every whispered prayer, every tear shed in the silent night is being measured in the courts of heaven. Not a single sacrifice is wasted. Each time you choose kindness over injustice, honesty over temptation, forgiveness over hurt, the realm of light marks another sign upon the page of your destiny. One day when you look back, you will understand why even the smallest details mattered so deeply. Do not fear if you feel yourself different. You were created to be different. Light cannot merge with darkness, and fire cannot pretend to be water. You may be misunderstood, even pushed aside, but that does not define your worth. It is faithfulness in solitude that becomes your loudest testimony. There are nights you cannot sleep because a vague stirring rises within you, as if something unseen is shifting, a hidden change drawing near. You are not imagining it. Your soul is sensing the emergence of a new season. It is like the sky before sunrise. Though the sun has not yet appeared, its colors are already changing. What you are witnessing are signs not of an ending but of a dawn. Let your heart learn to rest in trust. You do not need to control everything. You do not need to prove your strength. True strength is not in never falling, but in rising again with a tender heart. Forgive even when no one apologizes. Smile even when no one understands. Keep believing even when nothing is yet clear. This is the victory of the soul. This is the victory of the soul. And then you will see that all you once thought was loss is in fact rearrangement. Every person who leaves, every door that closes, every rough road, all of it draws you closer to what your soul was destined for. When you stop asking why me and begin to ask what do I need to learn from this, you will step into a deeper dimension of faith. Scripture says all things work together for good to those who love God. Romans 8:2-8. This is not merely a promise. It is the law of heaven's realm. Even what you think is a mistake, heaven can turn into the very material that builds your new self. No tear is wasted, no wound is meaningless. You are walking through a process, and that process is more sacred than you realize. Do not rush to conclude that you have failed simply because you have not yet seen the destination. The great artist never stops at the first sketch, and neither does God. He is still painting your story, and every stroke, whether of pain or joy, has its reason to exist. Breathe deeply and allow yourself to believe once more. Believe in the goodness that still exists. Believe that the unseen hand still upholds you. Believe that every wound, when placed in heaven's hands, will become a mark of triumph. And one day when you look back, you will smile at everything you have walked through, because you will realize that the days you thought were the darkest were, in fact, the moments you were being shaped into the most enduring light within your light. Soul. My beloved child. There are moments in life when you may feel as though everything has collapsed. The dreams you once held turn to dust, the people you trusted turn away, and even your own reflection feels like a stranger. Yet it is precisely in the place where you think you have been abandoned that heaven is at work the most. When you no longer have the strength to move forward, the angels begin to move on your behalf. When you have no words left to pray, your soul still whispers and the heavens still listen. There is no silence that heaven does not understand, no tear that the realm of light does not remember. God says, I do not only hear the prayers you speak aloud, I also hear the cries you cannot put into words. I know when your heart trembles. I know when you try to appear strong, so that no one sees your weakness. But I have seen you, and it is in your weakness that my strength is revealed. Beloved one, know that nothing in your life is meaningless. Every encounter, every wound, every quiet moment is being used by heaven to shape you into the image that was ordained from the beginning. You may not see the whole picture, but God never paints only half a portrait. He beholds both the beginning and the end, and every stroke of his brush carries a depth of purpose beyond your understanding. On the days when you feel surrounded by darkness, remember that even at night the moon reflects the light of the Sunday. So it is with your soul. Though it may be cloaked in fear or hurt, the light of heaven still shines through you. You may think you have lost your faith, but in truth, that faith is simply being refined, cut and polished to become more transparent and steadfast. Archangel Michael declares, O weary soul, know that I am still standing beside you. Whenever you think you are alone, remember that an entire army of light surrounds you. There are things you cannot see, but I have seen them. There are forces that wish to strike you in the dark, but my sword has been raised before they could reach you. When heaven intervenes, everything may seem to turn upside down. Doors that appeared shut swing open in silence. People who once walked away unexpectedly return with apologies you never imagined. Circumstances that seemed hopeless shift overnight. But remember, the true miracle is not in the outward wonders but in the inward transformation, when your heart no longer trembles, when you learn to believe before you see, when you stand still in the storm and yet know all will be well. Perhaps you are now in a season of uncertainty where the old is dissolving and the new has not yet taken shape. Do not be afraid. This is not chaos, it is rebirth. A seed breaks open not because it is destroyed but because it is preparing to sprout. So, it is with your soul. Every tremor you feel now is simply a sign that something great is being born within you. My child, do not take heaven's silence lightly. This is the moment when angels are at work, when promises are being woven from light. Sometimes God does not answer right away, not because he does not hear but because he is teaching you the language of trust. This language needs no proof, no guarantee, only a quiet whisper in your heart, I know, you are here. For Scripture says we walk by faith not by sight, 2 Corinthians 5:7. This is the lesson heaven is teaching you in this season: to believe before you see, to sing before there is reason, to rejoice and to give thanks in the midst of the storm. For when you choose to believe, you open the door for God to act. There are times when you pray for deliverance, yet he gives you endurance. You ask to be taken out of the fire, yet he allows you to walk through it without being burned. You ask him to remove the pain, yet he uses that very pain to open in you a compassion you had never known before. This is how heaven works, not according to what you want but according to what you truly need. Do you know this? Every time you choose forgiveness, instead of retaliation, you cause all of heaven to rejoice. Every time you choose silence, instead of argument, you give heaven permission to speak on your behalf. Every time you choose to love, even when your heart is bleeding, you resemble the one who created you more than ever before. My child, what you are going through is not a sign of an ending, it is evidence that heaven is intervening more deeply than ever. For, before the light bursts forth, darkness often grows thickest. Before the door opens, there is usually a heavy waiting silence. But do not fear, silence is not absence. It is the pause in which the miracle prepares to enter. Archangel Michael declares, "Do not look at the storm, look at the one who holds it. Do not tremble at the wind, for that very wind will carry you to new ground." Everything you are going through has a reason. Nothing is wasted. No wound is meaningless. Every tear you shed is watering the seed of faith that will bloom in your season. Let your heart grow still and take a deep breath. Even now something is shifting in the atmosphere around you. Heaven's intervention does not arrive with noise or display, but softly as a breath. It does not come to frighten but to awaken. Not to disturb but to restore. You will feel it in small things, in a gentle word, in light piercing through gray clouds, or simply in an unusual peace in the midst of chaos. And when it happens, you will know. You will know you have not been abandoned. You will see that all which seemed meaningless is fitting together like a miraculous mosaic. You will realize that in every trial heaven has never been silent, it has only been working quietly, weaving the miracle with threads of faith. There comes a moment on the spiritual journey when you sense a deep inner shift, not loud or dazzling but clear as a heartbeat within stillness. It is when old things begin to fall away, when former shells break off and a new version of you is taking shape. You find yourself no longer at home in places once familiar, no longer drawn to things that once enthralled you. Not because you have grown cold, but because your soul has matured, and heaven is inviting you to ascend to a higher realm where light demands greater purity and your mission calls for greater courage. Every soul is born carrying within it a sacred engraving, a mission that cannot be replaced. But to reach that mission you must pass through the dry lands of trial, where you learn to hear the voice of faith amid the clamor of the world. Rising up does not begin with the beating of drums. It begins when you dare to look pain in the eye and fear it no more. When you stop running and choose to face it, that is the very moment transformation begins. Perhaps you once thought strength meant never falling, but now you understand true strength is standing up again after every fall. Every time you reach the edge of your own limits is the very moment heaven expands your borders. When you think you have hit bottom, in truth you have only been pressed deep enough to discover the true foundation of faith. Rising is not a journey of avoiding darkness, but of learning how to carry the light within and walk through it. Just as a candle cannot reveal its meaning in daylight, you only discover your true strength when you step into the night. Every challenge you face contains within it a seed of blessing, waiting for the moment you are calm enough to see it. When you stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and instead begin to ask, "What can I learn from this?" your soul has already crossed into a new dimension of maturity. Those who have caused you pain did not come to destroy you but to awaken you. They arrived as lessons, as mirrors, so that you might recognize your own limitations and then rise beyond them. Forgiving them does not mean they were right, it means you have chosen freedom over bitterness. When you forgive, you cut the cords binding you to the past. When you let go, you open the path for goodness to flow in. At times, Your heart may feel empty, as if everything around you is dissolving. This is not loss but preparation. Just as a gardener must prune the withered branches before the season of bloom arrives, heaven is removing from your life what no longer carries life. Your solitude is not a sign of abandonment but an invitation to enter deeper intimacy with the Spirit. This is the moment you must remember: not everyone is meant to walk with you in this season. There will be those who do not understand why you have changed, why you choose quiet over noise, why you step away from places you once clung to. Do not let this make you question yourself. When heaven calls you higher, not everyone can hear that call. True rising often happens in stillness, and only hearts that listen deeply can feel it. Be patient with yourself. Not every day will be radiant and not every night will be calm. Yet day by day you are being remade. Every cell, every thought, every breath is being reshaped by light. Each time you choose peace over reaction, each time you choose trust over fear, you take another step upward on the ladder of spiritual maturity. Your rising does not come from striving but from surrendering into the hands of the Creator, just as a bird cannot fly by flailing but only by yielding to the wind. Your soul will be lifted when you learn to let go. This is not defeat, it is the bravest act, the act of trusting that a greater power is guiding you even when you cannot yet see the way. One day when you look back you will smile and see that everything had a reason. That the tears which once burned your eyes were the very waters that washed them clean so you could see more clearly. That the doors which closed gave you the courage to find your own. That the people who left taught you to lean on faith rather than on man. Everything that once felt like loss carried a hidden blessing, and now that blessing is being revealed. If you feel weary, pause, breathe deeply, and know that you are exactly where you need to be. You are not slow, you are not lost. Heaven is simply adjusting your steps to align with the new path ahead. Let your soul rest in His presence, where wounds are healed, burdens are laid down, and fears are replaced with trust. Your rising does not require the world's approval, for heaven has already approved you. You need not search for light outside yourself, for the light is already within. And when you begin to realize this, you will no longer fear the dark, for you will understand that true light never depends on circumstance. It radiates from within, from unshakable faith, from unconditional love, and from the knowing that you are the masterpiece of a perfect Creator. Keep walking even when all you can see is the next small step ahead. The light has never gone out, it only slows your pace so that you can be fully prepared for the greatness that is coming. Every step you take, no matter how trembling, is still a step closer to your destiny. And when you realize this, you will know that the very years you thought were the hardest have become the foundation for a radiant season rising within you. When your soul has passed through the dark valleys, when you have walked out of your own ashes, something new begins to emerge, the recognition of who you truly are, the person heaven shaped you to be, from the very beginning, before the world called you by any other name. Rising is not simply standing again after failure. It is understanding that what once broke you no longer holds power over you. You are no longer a victim of your past, but a living witness of transformation. And right now you are being invited into a deeper stage where you discover your true worth, your true strength, and the true mission entrusted to you. For years you have lived within patterns set by others, trying to be good enough, right, acceptable, yet your soul was never born to fit inside that mold. You were created to shine, to be different, to be a living testimony of the Creator's power. The light within you was not placed there to please the world but to illuminate the hidden corners where others have forgotten who they are. God says, I knit you together in your mother's womb, and every thread I use to form you carries the light of my divine intention. Do not compare your light to another's, for each flame is kindled to shine in its own direction. My beloved child, when you come to recognize your true identity, the world may not understand. There will be those who look at you with doubt and words that try to pull you back to where you once were because they are not yet ready to see a life transformed. But do not let their lack of understanding make you question yourself. Those who cannot see your vision are not rejecting its truth, it simply does not belong to them. Every soul has its own journey, and you do not need everyone to walk beside you to fulfill your mission. You only need faithfulness. Archangel Michael says, when you stand in your true light, darkness trembles. But do not be afraid, for you do not stand alone. Every step you take is protected, and every breath you draw is a declaration that heaven is still at work. At times you will feel isolation, not because you are abandoned but because heaven is drawing you away from the noise of the world so you can hear the voice within. This silence is not something to fear, it is a gift. It is in the quiet that you hear the gentle reminder, you have been chosen. Not because you are perfect, but because you are willing. Not because you are stronger than others, but because you still believe even when you have been hurt. Now you are called not just to live, but to live with meaning. You are invited not only to receive blessings but to become a blessing. Your hands were made to lift others. Your voice was given to heal. Your painful experiences are not the end but the keys to open doors for other souls walking in darkness. Look back at the road you've traveled, every scar, every tear, every time you chose love over hate. All of it has become a witness to this truth: nothing is wasted when it is placed in the hands of heaven. You are living proof that beauty can rise from ruins, that fire can blaze out of ashes, that compassion can bloom from pain. God says, when you walk in my name, every door will open. When you speak by faith, mountains will move. When you choose love, I will use you as an instrument to transform the world around you. My child, you do not need the world's validation, for your validation comes from the one who made the heavens and the earth. When heaven has called your name, no voice can deny it. When he has touched you, no power can block it, and when he has placed a mission in your heart, every obstacle is only a tool to make you stronger. Do not be afraid if you feel small in the midst of a vast world. It is often the seemingly ordinary souls that heaven chooses to accomplish the extraordinary. Moses was only a man who stammered, yet he was chosen to lead an entire nation. David was only a shepherd boy, yet he became a king. Mary was only an unknown young girl, yet she was chosen to carry the Savior within her. Therefore, never underestimate the potential of your soul. If heaven has planted a dream within you, then God has also placed within you the ability to bring it to pass. When you recognize your calling, you will see that what once wounded you has now become the very tool by which you lift others. The tears that once fell in solitude now flow like streams to refresh parched hearts. And your voice, though once trembling, now carries the resonance of healing, for it is born of truth. Walk in the confidence of one who has been chosen. Do not allow the voices of doubt to dim the light within you. Do not shrink yourself so that others might feel at ease. Do not ask for permission to shine. Live as though heaven is watching every step you take, because indeed it is, Archangel Michael declares. When you step out in faith, the entire realm of light moves with you. Everything that once opposed you will become a stepping stone to lift you higher. And every storm that once made you tremble will become only the prelude to the victory you are about to grasp. My beloved, this is the moment for you to stand firm in your identity, no longer bound by prejudice, no longer swayed by fear. You are a beloved creation, chosen and sent to sow hope and bring light to the world. And when you live true to this, all of heaven rejoices, for a soul has remembered who it is. There is a moment in every life when the heart awakens and realizes it was never meant merely to exist. It is the moment you understand that everything that has happened, both the beautiful and the painful, has been preparing you to become an instrument in heaven's hand. Your mission is not to flee from darkness, but to become the light within it. And now, as your soul has been forged through tears, solitude, and trials, you are ready for what God ordained for you from the very beginning. You were not created to live in fear. You were created to lead, to awaken, to bring life to barren places. The world does not need more loud voices, it needs souls who listen to the call of the light. And that is why you were chosen, not because you are perfect, but because your heart feels the pain of others and still finds goodness in the midst of ruins. You have been prepared to be the answer to someone's prayer. God says, I have placed within you the fire of compassion, and I will fan it into flame to illuminate the souls who are lost. Do not fear that your light is too small, for even a single ray of light can drive darkness away. Your mission is not a burden but an honor. It does not begin when you feel strong, but when you are willing to say yes, even as your heart still trembles. Every time you choose love over hatred, kindness over coldness, trust over confusion, you are fulfilling a part of that mission. The transformation of the world does not always begin with grand miracles, but with one heart reflecting the Creator's love in small, quiet acts. Beloved one, do not underestimate the reach of your influence. You may think your words are too small or your deeds too few, but to heaven nothing done in love is ever small. A smile can redeem a dark day. A word of encouragement can keep someone from collapsing. A single act of kindness, though simple, can send ripples that reach across generations. Archangel Michael declares, a true warrior does not carry a sword to destroy, but carries light to unlock. You are called to stand firm in the midst of chaos, to become an anchor point for souls who are drifting. Do not let the noise of the world drown out the call within your heart. The mission you carry is not accidental. From the days of your childhood there have been signs. The things that stirred your heart awake, the pain you could not look away from, were reminders that your soul was designed to heal. Heaven does not choose the strongest, it chooses the willing. God does not need you to be perfect, He needs you to have a heart that knows how to love. You may have wondered, how can I possibly change anything in this vast world? But my child, heaven has never needed a crowd to work a miracle. It only needs one who dares to believe. One who dares to step forward. One who dares to say yes when called. Moses held only a staff, yet he parted the sea. David had only a single stone, yet he brought down the giant. All you need is faith, and heaven will do the rest. Scripture says you are a chosen instrument of mine to carry my name before the nations. Acts 9:15. These words are not only for the prophets of old but for every soul courageous enough to live true to its calling. You are one of them. You are chosen to bear His name not through eloquent sermons but through the way you live, the way you love, and the way you forgive. There will be days when you are tired, nights when you feel alone. There will be those who misunderstand you and those who oppose you. But do not let these things break your spirit. Every warrior of light must pass through the fire of testing. Each step you take, even when it feels slow, makes the darkness tremble. You cannot fully see the reach of your influence, but heaven knows. There are people who will see the light within you and begin to believe they too can rise. God says, do not be afraid when you must walk alone. For you are not truly alone. Legions of angels are walking beside you, strengthening each step, drying every tear, and adding courage to your heart when it grows faint. You do not need to raise your voice to be heard. True strength lies in a presence that is quiet yet unshakable. The bearer of light does not need to prove their radiance. They simply continue to shine and the darkness fades away on its own. Remember, lasting change does not come from noise but from steadfastness. You are called to be a lamp, not a firework, steady, humble, but never extinguished. When you live true to your mission, everything else will begin to align. Doors will open. The right people will appear. Circumstances that once felt against you will become stepping stones. For when you walk in the right direction, the whole universe collaborates to help you fulfill the reason you were sent. My beloved, now that the light has been kindled within your soul, you are being invited into a crucial season, a season of action, of faith expressed through every decision, every breath, every step. For faith is not only a feeling but a movement, not only words but a response. The light heaven has placed in you is no longer meant to be hidden but to illuminate the path for yourself and for those seeking a way out of the dark. There are prayers that are answered only when you begin to move. There are doors that open only as you draw near, and there are miracles that appear only when you dare to walk without yet seeing the road. Heaven does not ask you to know everything. It asks you to believe. For it is in the uncertain steps that faith is born. And it is in the uncharted places that you will discover your true strength. God says, as you walk in obedience, I will make the ground beneath your feet firm. Every step taken in faith will become a stone that builds your future. O child, you may still hesitate. Fear may still whisper, what if you fail? But greater than the fear of failure is the tragedy of never trying. Every great work heaven has done on earth began with one small step of faith. Noah built the ark before the rain fell. Abraham left his homeland without knowing where he was going. Moses stood before the Red Sea with nothing but a staff. And then the waters parted, the desert bloomed, and the promise came to pass. So it will be with you. Only dare to step and He will make the way. Archangel Michael says no journey ever begins without resistance. Yet every step you take in faith is a declaration of war against the darkness. Do not tremble before challenges, for they are merely proof that you are drawing nearer to the promised land. Obedience is not a burden, it is liberation. When you respond to heaven's call, you no longer have to struggle to control everything, for you know that you are being guided by an almighty hand. Each time you say yes, you unlock a door you could never open by your own strength. Each time you believe, you allow heaven to reveal the miraculous in the midst of the ordinary world. But to obey, you must learn to be silent, not the silence of fear but the silence of one who listens. Amid countless voices, only the Creator's voice can lead you rightly. Do not let the noisy mind of the world cause you to forget the gentle sound of the Spirit. Slow down, breathe deeply. And in that moment you will hear the familiar call, the same call that lifted you in your darkest nights, the same voice that once said, "You are not alone." Scripture says, "Commit your way to the Lord. Trust in Him and He will do it." Psalm 3:7-5. This is not merely a promise. It is the soul's strategy. True faith does not come from knowing the outcome but from believing the outcome rests in the hands of the Good One. Beloved child, when heaven calls, do not wait until you feel ready. Readiness never comes first, it appears in the walking. Just as a bird does not learn to fly by remaining in the nest, you must spread your wings to feel the wind. Do not fear making mistakes. Fear doing nothing at all. For when you step forward with a sincere heart, heaven will shape every path, turning mistakes into lessons and turning the journey into testimony. Archangel Michael says your true strength does not lie in the absence of fear but in the courage to walk on despite fear. Believe that an unseen hand carries you with every step. At times you will have to leave behind places of safety, the spaces where you once found stability, the people you once thought would journey with you forever. But do not grieve. This leaving is not loss but invitation. Each time you release, heaven makes room to place something new, and that new thing is always more beautiful, larger, and deeper than anything you imagined. You will discover that acting in faith not only changes your circumstances but also changes you. Each step enlarges your soul. Each time you choose trust over doubt, your heart grows stronger. And gradually you will see that you are no longer who you once were. You have become a person who lives by faith, not by fear. God says, "Rise up, my child, for I have placed within you a courage the world cannot take away." Do not seek peace by avoiding trials. Find peace by walking with me. Beloved one, do not seek certainty in the eyes of the world. Heaven's certainty often comes wrapped in impossibility. In the place where you see no way, He creates a path. In the place where you think hope is gone, He plants the seed of a miracle. You do not need to understand everything, you need only to trust and step forward. For every action born of faith becomes a living stone in the building of the kingdom of light. There will be days when you feel heavy, but remember, obedience is not always easy, yet it is always worth it. You are sowing seeds for a season your eyes have not yet seen but heaven already beholds. Every quiet yes, every act of obedience shakes the unseen realm and clears the way for goodness to pour forth. Archangel Michael says, "Walk on, child of light. Let faith be your guide. Let love be your flame, let hope be your breath. And as you walk, the world will shift with every footprint you leave." Beloved child, this is the moment of action, of faith made alive. Do not wait for a miracle, become the miracle. Do not wait for the door to open, knock. Do not wait for the path to be clear, step forward and the light will appear. For every time you act in faith, all of heaven moves with you, and when you look back you will see that every promise has come true not because you were strong enough but because He was faithful enough. Thank you for listening to this message. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you will not miss any divine message. Amen.